back to the Restless Cure, TGIF. This weekend we've got a little bit of a road trip. And I say we, I mean me and Lisa. She's back from the Pacific Northwest. Our original plan was to do an overnight hammock trip. I really wanted to get out in nature this weekend and do more than some of the day trips I have recently done, but the weather's going to be pretty crummy around here, so we've got to looking at the weather map and the map of just what's around us. And we decided to go to a ghost town in Rodney, Mississippi. That's in southwest Mississippi. It's about a 5-hour drive from our house, so the conditions today made it perfect. I got off of work at noon, and so that gave us just enough time to do a little bit of an extended road trip. So we're going to head over to Madison, Mississippi tonight, hang out with some family, have some good food, hopefully wake up tomorrow at Natchez Trace State Park, or Natchez State Park I think it is, and head over to Rodney in the morning and see what we can get into. Full disclosure, we came in the worst possible entrance to Rodney, Mississippi. If you're interested in visiting, I'd take the east entrance off of Rodney Road. It's a much better way to get there. So we're about a quarter mile from Rodney, Mississippi, our little ghost town, and part of the reason it's a ghost town because it floods now, and you can see the road to get there is, I don't think we're gonna make it through. We got a 2-wheel drive van, and the road's pretty well flooded, so we're gonna have to go to plan B. I think we're gonna leave the van in the middle of the road. Well, Rodney's not a true ghost town. There are a few old locals that still live here. But as you can see, they've had to position our house well above the flow stages to remain here.
So, we made it to Old Town Rodney, Mississippi, and we thought we would start here at the Presbyterian Church. It's been here since the beginning of the town, really, when it was dedicated in 1832. It has seen so much that this town has been through. 2 yellow fever outbreaks, 2 cholera outbreaks, a Civil War battle, fires, and floods. At one point, the Mississippi River diverted away from Rodney 2 miles, and that pretty much put an end to Rodney. They, of course, couldn't be a port town without being on the bank of the Mississippi. The church is being restored and is part of the National Register of Historic Places, and so hopefully it will be here for a long time and see the next chapter of Rodney come about. In 1863, a Civil War battle was fought here between Union soldiers of the USS Rattler and local Confederate soldiers after a few of the Rattler's men decided to attend Sunday services at the Presbyterian Church. You'll notice a cannonball lodged in the front of the church. The original munition went missing at some point and was replaced in the early 1990s for historical purposes. If you'd like to know more about the battle, check out the link in the description.
One of the reasons I think I enjoy old cemeteries and ghost towns is probably with the stories they tell of the past. You can look at a headstone usually and get kind of a micro story of somebody's life, and you realize between the two dates on that stone was their entire story. So far I've seen stones where people were born in Germany and Scotland and Ireland and died in Louisiana and were buried in this kind of forgotten area of Mississippi. And you realize there's just a lot of ground cover between those two dates, and it's fun just to kind of walk through and imagine what their life was like. I saw a headstone earlier and I kind of put the story together that the young man died at the age of 34. His wife died, an infant died 9 days before that. And it coincides with a pandemic. So he had the courage to leave his home country, but he had the misfortune to walk right into an epidemic. And just in a matter of a few weeks, you see the entire demise of your entire family. And just what could possibly going through his head in those last days.
As mentioned earlier, the town of Rodney floods often. You can see the flood lines from the most recent flood on this old Baptist church. We had a great time exploring Rodney yesterday. Jason is cooking up a quick breakfast this morning, and then we are going to hike the Potkopinu Trail. It is 7 miles out and back and the longest remaining trail of the original Natchez Trace.
This is probably one of the more interesting areas on the trail. The areas around here are usually pretty flat. Over the last few hundred years, animals and humans have worn these soft soils down, and some of these valleys are up to 20 feet deep. So we made it to the halfway point in the trail. We're about 3.5 miles in, so that means we've probably got 3.5 miles to get back. It's early afternoon, so we're gonna burn through these next 3.5 miles. We'd like to get home before midnight. We've still got about a 5-hour ride ahead of us. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.